Hi guys, it's Izzy and today I'm going to be doing the if you liked this book, try this book tag. Is it a tag? I'm not really sure, but it's the video we're doing. I don't really know where this tag first originated. If I find out, I'll leave the original video down below, but this is a video where I recommend a book based on another book, so if you enjoyed that original book then you should enjoy the other book I recommend, or equally if you hated that book then you may also want to steer clear of this one if you're so inclined. But I'm going to recommend these books for different reasons. So 2 books maybe because of the themes they cover, 2 books maybe because of the feelings I got while reading them, 2 books because of a similar plot line, 2 books because of similar characters, but I'll obviously say when I'm recommending them why I'm recommending them so you can see if that would be something you would still enjoy. But yes, let's get started. I've got quite a few of the birds in my garden chose this time to pipe up. Love that for me. Okay, well, let's get started. The first recommendation I have is if you loved Harry Potter, the good old Harry Potter, then I think you would like Nevermore. Now, I see people compare these books and I wouldn't exactly say they're not similar at all in terms of plot, but to me they are very similar in terms of feeling and tone and general themes. Harry Potter, you obviously know what Harry Potter is about. Nevermore, however, is about a girl called Morrigan Crow who is a cursed child because of the day that she was born, and on the day that she is supposed to die she is whisked off to the wonderful world of Nevermore by an eccentric mentor named Jupiter North. She has to compete in a series of trials so that she can enter the Wonder Society, which is like the best thing you can do in Nevermore. And the reason I recommend this based on Harry Potter is just because it was the first book I've read since reading Harry Potter that like gave me a similar feeling to how I felt when I read Harry Potter for the first time. Obviously my feelings for Harry Potter are very different because they're nostalgia based, and obviously I've read this recently-ish, so it's different now, but like when I read these books for the first time, just like that feeling of magical like whimsy and just warmth and comfort that I felt when I read Harry Potter, I felt when I read Nevermore. And if you're looking for just a book series that just warms your heart and makes you feel really at home and just in love with another magical world, then I highly recommend Nevermore. The next recommendation I have is they're both kind of underrated books, so if you've read one and not the other then you should read one or both or all of the above. And those books are Moxie by Jennifer Matthew, not sure, and Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. These books are great. The Nowhere Girls is about 3 girls, Erin, Rosina and Grace. Grace moves into town and she moves into a house that was occupied by a girl who was raped and had to leave town because she was ostracised and not believed about the sexual assault she suffered. And once Grace learns this, she wants to try and make a difference, so her, Grace and Rosina join together and create a club called the Nowhere Girls in an effort to get girls talking to each other and create like a safe space, and also to advocate for this girl who was ostracised by her community. Moxie I read a little while ago, so it's a little bit fuzzy, but it is about a girl named Vivian who is fed up at her school with the sexist comment, the sexist dress code, the constant comments from guys and teachers, and she's had enough, so she creates a feminist zine, not 100% sure, and she distributes it anonymously around her school in an effort to get girls together and standing up for themselves. And obviously you can see why these two books would go together. They're both great stories about feminism and girls empowering each other, and I think these are definitely the two best books I've read on feminism and girls learning about feminism and trying to change the way things are run. I think they're both really well done. The diversity is great, the conversations are great, the themes are great, they're all done really well, and definitely how I view feminism. And if I were to write a book, this is what I would say. And overall, they're just really great books that talk about a lot of important topics and talk about them extremely well, and they're just both great books and you should read them. And if you've read one, give the other a go. You're not going to be disappointed. The next two books I have to recommend are Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins and The Summer of Geordie Perez and the Best Burger in Los Angeles by Amy Spalding. That's a mouthful. These two books are just great. Her Royal Highness is about a girl who is living in Texas or somewhere in America, don't remember, and she wants to go to a Scottish boarding school for her final year of school because it's an extremely prestigious school and well thought of school. And once she gets there, her roommate is a Scottish princess named Flora, and they have a sort of hate to friendship to love type situation. It's great. And The Summer of Geordie Perez, again, I read a little while ago, but it is about a girl named Geordie, and she gets a job as an intern at this fashion store, and she is competing for a final job with another intern, and they also have a sort of hate to friendship to love type situation. They're just both really fun, summery female contemporaries, and I just had a lot of fun reading both of them. They're no literary masterpieces, but they are really fun and summery and just a quick and thoroughly enjoyable read, and we are very lacking in female cute contemporaries, so if you've read one of these, you'll want to read the other. They're charming, I love them, and we need more cute female relationships because the rest of them are angsty and I don't want to be sad all the time. So yeah, these books are great. The next two books I've got to compare are History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera and We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. These books again are probably similar in their theme and in their plot. We Are the Ants follows a boy named Henry who is abducted by aliens, and he is asked if he wants to save the world in 90 days. Either he can press a button that will save the world, or he can let the days pass and the world will end. And Henry has just lost his boyfriend to suicide, and his home life is very difficult, and he doesn't really have any friends, and he's wondering if the world is worth saving. And it's a very beautifully written book, one of my favourites, and it's just incredible and very moving and just so well done. And History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera is about a boy named Griffin and his ex-boyfriend slash longtime best friend Theo sadly dies in a drowning accident, and he has to deal with the grief of someone dying when he always imagined them getting back together. He just thought it was a matter of time, and he has to deal with his grief as well as finding out that Theo actually had another boyfriend at school named Jackson, and Griffin having to deal with navigating a relationship with Jackson when he thinks he should kind of hate him. So these books both talk about depression, grief, mourning, relationships with family and friends, and they do them exceedingly well, and I think they're both wonderful books, really extremely well done. Trigger warning for things like suicide, depression, I believe self-harm, but I will double check. And so if you don't feel up to reading them, maybe give them a pass, but if you liked one of these, I'm almost certain you'll like the other one. I think they're just both done incredibly well and were both very moving books, which I cried a lot at, so yes. The next two books I have to recommend are The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James and Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. The Loneliest Girl in the Universe is about a girl called Romy who is on a spaceship. Her parents started a space mission to Mars or some new planet with the idea of starting a civilization there, but sadly along the way there were some deaths and Romy is the only one left on the spaceship, and she gets news one day that they have sent out another astronaut named Jay who will meet her sort of along the way and will join her in the rest of the voyage to the new planet. So this takes place completely in space and it's really great. Illuminae is about a girl named Katie whose home planet gets attacked by some spaceships from some science company thing, and she has to flee her planet on a spaceship. But her and all the other people on the spaceship are being pursued by the people who attacked her planet in the first place, and add to that there is a deadly virus going around and also some crazy AI person thing, some crazy AI robot thing. It's wild. These books are both wild. They both take place completely in space and on spaceships. They're both extremely high stakes, tension, drama. It's non-stop action. This book takes a little while to get going, but once it does, it's great. And Illuminae, constant action. We start off with them attacking a planet and we don't stop. So these books are I'm mainly recommending based on plot and action and setting, and I think if you enjoyed one of these books you'd really enjoy the other one because they're both taking place on spaceships and you can't escape a spaceship, which we learn very quickly. So yes, both of these books are great. If you've read Illuminae and you try Loneliest Girl in the Universe, give it a while. It picks up and it's very short anyway, so yes. Both great books. Also, Illuminae is done in a multimedia format, so there are interviews and text messages and designs and schematics and all sorts, so that's a really interesting quick read as well. So yes, both exciting, both fast moving, both take place in space. The next two books I have to recommend are Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel and The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. These books are great, obviously. I liked all the books I'm recommending today, but The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is about a girl who joins a space crew who are in charge of like making holes in space so you can travel from one area in space to another area in space. It's not really about the space, it's about this crew and kind of like what they get up to and just how they interact and just their stories. And the same with Station 11, this takes place after the world has been taken over by a flu epidemic. The large majority of the population is dead and most people just wander around living in very small towns and there's basically no one left, and it follows a Shakespeare troupe who go around town to town and perform Shakespeare for people, and it also follows characters after this epidemic and prior to the epidemic, so we can see how they've grown and changed and what happened to them. And these books are both science-y, but they're mainly about people and the relationships people make with each other and how people react to different situations and basically just the human condition in general. They're both very quiet and interesting and very profound books, and I think they were done brilliantly. And I'm not much of a fan of slow books, I prefer action and drama, but I really was just captivated by both of these books. They were so interesting and compelling, and the characters, I felt so much for them, and they were just both done beautifully, and I'm like 100% sure if you liked one of these you will like the other. They're just both done brilliantly and follow a very similar theme and direction and sort of general plot, and yeah, I was just enthralled by both of them, so I highly recommend them. The next two books I have to talk about is, if you liked the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, then I think you will like Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. If you haven't heard of Mistborn, which you probably have, these books basically follow a world where the bad guy won and is ruling, like if Voldemort ruled the wizarding world, that's basically what happened in this book. And we are following a group of characters as they try and start an uprising and try and change the fate of their world. The magic system is based on metals, so there are 8 different metals, I believe, and most people can control one of them, which gives them specific powers and abilities, but Mistborns can control all of the metal and are very powerful and very rare. What a surprise, the most powerful people are rare. So shocking. But great first book. I haven't actually finished the series, so I'm talking about the first book mainly, but it gave me a very similar vibe to Foundry Side. Foundry Side is about a girl called Sanchia or Sancia. I think it's Sanchia. I think that's what they said in the book. It's a weird name. Sanchia, and she is trying at the beginning of the book to steal a valuable artifact. She doesn't know exactly what it is when she tries to steal it. She just knows it's worth a lot of money. Turns out to be a talking key, and everyone wants a talking key. So yeah, Sanchia, the magic system in Foundry Side is based on, basically you can write on objects and that gives them a certain ability. So like you can write on a wheel and you can say for it to go faster, or you can write on stone and say for it to be denser, or you can write on wood and make it think it's stone, and that's how the magic system works. And Sanchia, our main character, can actually hear objects, and she can kind of like listen to the floor and see who's been there. She has pretty cool powers, and yeah, both of these books have very in-depth magic systems that are super interesting and really well fleshed out. They're both kind of like epic fantasies. If you're not into hardcore fantasies, wouldn't recommend these, but if you've liked either of them, you're gonna like one of these, because they are both just such rich worlds with such incredible magic systems, really interesting characters, really interesting character dynamics. They're both kind of rebels sticking together even though they don't really like each other, but yeah, they're both wonderful books, would highly recommend, and I'm very excited for the next book of Foundry Side, and I really need to get on to reading the second book in the Mistborn series, but they're so long. I'm always intimidated. The next 2 books I have to recommend are Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson and A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. These both are mystery books. Truly Devious follows a girl who goes to this infamous school in, is it in Canada? I can't remember, but it is a school where students are chosen for a very special interest and go to the school because of it. So like prodigy writers, our main character is a true crime enthusiast and mystery solver, and basically any talent you can go there for and learn. And it was created in the 1930s, I believe, but then a tragedy happened when the owner of the school lost his daughter and his wife, and then the school closed down, but it has been reopened, and our main character goes there and decides to solve the crime from the 1930s. So yeah, and A Study in Charlotte follows 2 characters, Jamie and Charlotte. They are the descendants of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and they are being framed for a series of crimes that are based on the Sherlock stories, so the mysteries from the Sherlock books are being recreated and Charlotte and Jamie are being framed for them, so they have to figure out what's going on. I didn't love Truly Devious, but I did really enjoy the second book, The Vanishing Stair. It's a 3-book series, so most people love the first one. I just found it a little bit slow, but the second book really picked up. But I loved studying Charlotte. It was so interesting, it was so fast paced, it was so twisty and turny, and I didn't really figure it out. What I really like about both of these books is they're more mystery than thriller. Like, they're both thrilling and they're both dangerous, but a lot of the thrillers I read these days are more like psychological thrillers rather than actually having to figure something out, and I really liked these two books because they felt much more traditionally mysterious, and they really did give me the vibe of like a Sherlock Holmes story, and I just really loved how interesting they were. I didn't guess where they were going, and yeah, I just really liked how the mystery aspect of them, and if that's what you loved from these books, then I think you'll like the other one because they give me a very similar vibe. I do prefer this one, but if you love Truly Devious, I really think you will enjoy this one as well. So yeah, give them a go. They're really great. So that is all the recommendations I have for today. I have quite a lot of other ones that I could recommend, but this is getting long. There's a fly. Get away from me. Yes, this is gonna go on all day, and I'll save it for another one. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below. I would love to know, because I would love to make another one of these. It was really fun figuring out what books had a similar sort of vibe to them, and I really enjoyed making this list. And yeah, if you've read like a pair of these books, let me know down in the comments if you also got the same vibe from them. I would love for you to let me know what you think. And yeah, if you've given any of these books a go, give their pair a go. Give the couple, just read them. Read them, they're great. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I will leave my Twitter and Goodreads down in the comments below. Sorry I've been a little bit MIA, haven't been able to film because I've been too ill, but I'm hopefully back to my more regularly scheduled program. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!